This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you in partnership with ministryleague.com. We would love for more people to discover this show, so please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast provider. Feel free to share on your social media and subscribe at benandtravis.com for the free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living. Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis, and of course Will the Thrill along with us. As always, we are jazzed about being together with each other and just excited to have all of you guys out there joining in with us as well. And I wanted to say right off the bat, we have some amazing folks who are following along with us on the podcast, on our Facebook page, Facebook group. We just got all kinds of great support, and we're really thankful for you guys. So we're glad that you are out there listening along. And of course, Travis Creasy is here. So what's new in your world this week, Travis?
Well, came off a big win Friday night. Of course, this will be weeks in advance or weeks later, so I don't know. I may not be happy when this actually comes out. You never know, but had a big win to start off the season, kick off the season. I'm fired up. Obviously, I can't be excited enough about our guest on this episode, but I'll let you reveal that in just a moment. Man, I'm great. I couldn't be better if I had all the ice cream in the world and a stomach to put it in.
Well, Will Mahan here with us as usual. How are you?
Man, I'm doing really well. Life's going good. Still trucking along in my marathon training.
Still running 14 miles every so often? Did
15 miles yesterday, so threw in quite a bit of walking with some cramps. But outside of that, doing pretty well. Like Travis said, super excited about our guest. Finally got to meet him. Have prayed about him a lot, which is really cool to kind of see where everything is now.
Absolutely. So today is a good day because we do have a very, very special guest with us, a couple of very, very special guests with us. I think this will be the first kid on the show. So, you get the priority there, Cole Kelley. So Cole Kelley is with us and his mom, Caroline, is with us. And we're just really excited. He is aware of bling and he's got it on. If you're listening to the podcast, he's got boss written across his chest on a diamond studded necklace, it looks like. And so he is with us. He is no ordinary child, the wearer of bling, the dance extraordinaire, and we'll probably get to some of that. Cole Kelley, how are you today, Cole?
Good.
Good. Well, we're excited to have you with us. And Caroline, how are you today?
We are great. We're glad to be here.
So most people in our area, in our circle, have probably heard of Cole Kelley. He's kind of a celebrity. We've already established earlier that this is kind of celebrity status for us to have Cole Kelley on our show with us because Will mentioned we've prayed a lot for him. Prayed a lot for all of you guys as y'all have been through some things. But for those who don't know, Caroline, could you kind of fill us in a little bit on the journey that you guys have been on for several years now? And we'll let you just kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I would love to. So the thick of it, has been for the last 15 months, but Cole was actually diagnosed with black fan anemia when he was 2 months old. I had no idea what that was. We were young, just had a baby, and all this just kind of came about. So he lived with what we thought was diamond black vein anemia for about 5.5 years, and he didn't make red blood cells. He got blood transfusions every 3 weeks for 5.5 years. And so it was well over 100 transfusions. I lost count at some point because he was needing them more frequently. And then plus his transfusions during his transplants at NIH. So lots of blood transfusions. And we got stuck in this rut in the middle of all that, thinking that it was horrible, thinking that getting blood transfusions was like the worst thing that could have ever happened. And then we go to Memphis. We went to St. Jude in Memphis, and
Which is the big St. Jude.
He
That's
loves
Big
Big
St.
St.
Jude,
Jude.
that's it.
Yeah, Big St. Jude. Because we go to Huntsville, the affiliate.
Yeah.
So that's our little St. Jude, and Big St. Jude is in Memphis. So you walk through those doors, and we were quick.
And the big St. Jude has a Bass Pro Shop next to it.
Yes, it does. In a pyramid. Have you rode to the top of it? You gone inside, gone to the top? All you need to do that. St. Jude patients can do that for free, by the way. So you can go to the top of it
Ooh.
anytime you want.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Somebody's got to go up there with him.
Yeah, exactly. So, you just get in this mindset when things happen to you and life isn't perfect, that this is the worst thing that could ever happen. And so then we go to Memphis, and a lot of people don't know that St. Jude not only treats leukemia and cancer patients, but they also treat other diagnoses as well, and blood disorders is one of those things. And so Cole has always looked super healthy, and you would never know that anything was wrong with him if you didn't look at his lab work. And so, we walk in and we are just devastated and thinking that it's the end of the world. And then we're here with this child with lots of energy who can run in and has hair, and everybody's looking at us like, what are they even doing here? So we were brought back down to earth really quick and reminded that we can get blood transfusions for 500 years and be just fine. So I just always like to say that, because I remember that feeling so vividly, and walking in and seeing all those other parents and kids, and later I will relate to them much more. But at that point, I was just really thankful that we were only getting blood transfusions. So,
Yeah, that place has a really, it's just got a way about it. They're amazing. But, we've had to walk that with my son. And again, we kind of feel like you guys did that first time. There's a whole lot of people in a whole lot worse shape. But it is humbling, just to see the kids there. And of course, you guys' journey has gone well beyond that now, well beyond the transfusions.
Yes, I remember Cole was 6 months old the first time that we went to Memphis, and he was getting a bone marrow biopsy, and y'all probably know what that is. So if you don't know and you're listening, yeah. So they go into he was asleep. I don't know if they put adults to sleep, but and they go into the back of your hip bone, and they take some of that bone, and they take some fluid out of your bone, and they test that and look at it and see what's going on inside your body. But he was 6 months old, and that's little. That is a little bitty baby.
Yeah.
And I could not stop crying. He was crying and I was crying, and all the healthcare professionals were like, so they had somebody taking care of me. They had people taking care of him. And I just remember that nurse being like, she was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm at St. Jude. Like, what do you mean what's wrong? And she's like, but you're at St. Jude. Like it's going to be okay, And she just held me for the longest until he was asleep, and then they kicked me out. But yeah, it's a place like no other for sure. But that's when we knew that he wasn't making red blood cells. So that was our first big step, I guess. We knew he wasn't making red blood cells. So what do? We give him red blood cells, and we did that, like I said, for years. And he was about 5. He was between the 4-year-old and kindergarten class, and it's a lot. So I don't remember exactly when it all, because lots of things happened between that year. But his white cells and other things started messing up, because for a long time it was only his red cells, and then other things started happening. So his neutrophils were dropping, his lymphocytes were dropping, just some things that didn't quite go along with his diamond black fan anemia diagnosis. So we start digging, and they did another bone marrow aspirate at our little St. Jude in Huntsville, and they misdiagnosed him with leukemia. I don't know if y'all remember that. So they were like, okay, well, he has leukemia. And we're like, okay. So we swallowed that. We accepted that. We pack our bags for 3 months, like we got those results on, just say it was Thursday, and on Friday morning we were going to St. Jude, packed for 3 months, ready to stay. So then 24 hours later, he has another bone marrow biopsy, and the doctor's like, oh, no, I'm sorry, he doesn't have leukemia. So we're like, okay, all right. So it was just like this crazy, like 72 hours of, I don't know. I don't want to say like when we thought he had leukemia, it was like, okay, that's what's going on. Right. And then he was like, it was this foreign doctor, and he said, I'm sorry, I don't know what he has, but like he don't have leukemia. So we knew something else was wrong. But it wasn't leukemia. Hallelujah. But we sat in that waiting room till like 6 p.m. that night waiting on that doctor to read those results. And like, you know, the outpatient clinic there at St. Jude kind of shuts down around 3 o'clock. Everybody starts leaving, and we sat there and we sat there and we sat there. And I was like, I'm not leaving. Like, I will find this doctor. He's going to tell us what's going on. And he did. So he was wrongly diagnosed with that. And that just sort of pushed us, or kind of lit our fire more to figure out what was wrong. So our Diamond Black Fan Anemia doctors in New York kind of teamed up with St. Jude and did a whole bunch more genetic testing. He'd already had a lot of genetic testing, but there's like genetic testing inside of genetic testing. It gets really deep. And we found that he had a deficiency of this thing called adenosine, which I was like, I don't know what that is, but okay. So they feed off that and find out that he has this disease that was just discovered in 2014 called DATA2. So it's a deficiency of the adenosine that your body makes. And so that one little deficiency can create so many problems.
So, Cole, all of this stuff that you guys are going through, like, I mean, what's that like for a kid going through that? Mom's telling us from the adult perspective. But what was that like for you?
Real emotional.
Yeah, so kind of hard to take, because, I mean, you're not just having to go to the doctor. It sounds like you're probably having to miss out on some stuff, too, along the way, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of some crazy. So you've been dealing with this for a long time.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of amazing to me, Cole. I've got a 2-year-old daughter, and it's probably, I feel like as a parent, Caroline, one of the scariest things for you to talk about all of this. But for those that aren't watching the video, Cole's sitting here just going, "Yeah, remember that, know that," and it's like, who in their right mind would say that a kid should have to know, like, or even expect those things? And so, Cole, it's hard for me as a dad to know what you've gone through. But on the other side of that, it's really cool to go, man, I walked into the office and you're joking about Snoop Dogg and about all of these different people. And it's like your perspective is challenging to me to kind of go, man, you need to suck it up. Like, you know, look what I've been through and look at the attitude that I have, you know? And so, Cole, that's, you know, I know you're young, but man, you're teaching a lot of people some incredible lessons of, hey, I'm going to stick it out. And, you know, here's the cards that I've been dealt. So I'm going to run with it, and we're going to have a great attitude. And I know, like you were telling Ben, some of that's probably been hard for you, you know, and I know that's why we've been praying and a lot of people have been praying, but man, your attitude is just so infectious, you know, and so awesome. Cool to be around to see that. So it's just been cool to get to know you just a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. So, like, what's been the worst part for you, Cole? Like, out of all this stuff, I mean, none of it sounds really pleasant to me, but what's been the worst part for you?
Probably ICU, especially the nurses.
Did they wake you up all the time?
Oh yeah, and we couldn't understand a word that they said.
Oh, I got you. Well, you know, you guys were telling me something, Will and I, something before we started the recording that I didn't even think about. Is, you know, everybody here has been complaining about, you know, the COVID stuff, not being able to go to church, not being able to, you know, do some of the things we always do. And, you know, they've been kind of out of that circle for what now, 6 months or so?
5-6 months. And
I was thinking, well, you guys, y'all went to church today for the very first time, right? But that was not the very first time since COVID, right? y'all were back with your church family for the very first time in what?
Since September of 2018.
Yeah, because you guys were, part of your journey, I guess you didn't get to that part, was the latest segment was y'all spent about a year away from home, or a year and a half.
Yes. Yeah, and now on this side of it, it's almost like I'm telling a story about something that happened to somebody else, and that sounds weird. And when we were in the thick of it, people were like, I don't know how you do this. Oh, you're so amazing. All these things. And you're like, you don't have time to think about, I'm going to be amazing today. You just have to get through the day. Like, you wake up, you may or may not get a shower. You think about what pills have to be taken, what test has to be done. You're in survival mode. You don't wake up and think, I'm going to be a champion. You just do, I guess.
Now I am a champion, but
Now I am a
That's
champion.
right.
Yes, he is. Travis, can you relate to that world?
Oh yeah. I'm kind of fanboying here just a little bit because it was, a lot of that lined up around the same time. And, here I am, late at night, I'm feeling sorry for myself because I gotta get up the next day and go down and get a 2-hour infusion in Huntsville. And here's this kid on Facebook Live eating, spaghetti and jamming out to his favorite music, or in the hospital and doing those sort of things, and it's like, I can do that, I can do that. You're talking about the bone marrow biopsy, and I was put to sleep for one, the others I was awake for, but I was on some pretty good stuff too. So, but yeah, that was kind of when it hit home for me, was when they said, hey, we're going to do this bone marrow biopsy. And it's funny, I guess it's not funny, but anytime the barometric, change, or temperature change, or like last night when a big rainstorm came through, my hip is like flaring up like, hey, you remember that time that guy took that big thing and stuck it in your hip? Well, I'm here to remind you that happened. But no, I think you're exactly right. People will ask, how did you do it? Well, I had these guys in big white coats and these nurses, Cole, that come in and said, this is what you're going to do today. And so you do it. And, you pray and lean on people, to get you through it. And, but yeah, it all sounds real familiar. Obviously much longer of a time period for you guys than it was for me. But yeah, it's different. I think I would have probably fought the mask thing a little harder, and, the quarantine would have been a lot more difficult had I not spent about 36 days in quarantine. And so I certainly learned a lesson to be still a little bit. I'm still working on that, Cole, being still.
So, Cole, does your hip bother you when the weather changes, or is it just the old man in the bunch?
I don't know that question.
It's the old man.
He did enjoy being put to sleep.
Yes.
That is nice.
It was funny because I had to put this mask on and it would taste funny, and so there were these flavors, and I would always pick watermelon, and they would put it in there, and I would taste watermelon, and I would just go to sleep.
We had an amazing team that they knew we just got loved on a whole lot while we were there, and spoiled really bad. And so they would say, Cole needs this procedure, and I'm like, well, when is so-and-so going to be here, and when is so-and-so going to be here, and it has to be done then.
What do you think of when I say school night dinners? Pretty sure you didn't think healthy, effortless, or relaxed. The back-to-school season is stressful under normal circumstances. Everyone has to readjust to keeping a schedule after a couple of months of the laid-back pace of summer. This year, the adjustment period will be an even bigger shock to the system, since many of us have been home for almost 5 months due to the COVID-19 school closings last spring. The readjustment to the faster pace of the daily work and school grind will be stress-inducing for everyone, and new school guidelines like mandatory face masks, temperature scan stations, and social distancing practices may make little ones even more prone to anxiety, even if they don't say it out loud. This year it will be even more important for us as parents to be attentive to our kiddos as we get back to a semi-normal routine this fall, checking in to make sure that they are faring well mentally and emotionally, and helping them process all of the changes they will be experiencing. I know what you're thinking. That's easier said than done. There are so many urgent things that have to be dealt with every evening, like cooking dinner, packing lunches, doing laundry, and homework, that it's easy for the more important things, like our kids' mental and emotional health, to take a back seat.
Hi, Whitney, Travis's other half here. How about a week's worth of easy weeknight dinners for your family? We've done the planning for you. As a parent, the hours between the end of the school day and bedtime are precious. During the school year, our kids spend more waking hours with their teacher than they do with us. I don't know about you, but I don't want to waste the majority of that precious time in the kitchen. But I still want to provide my family with a healthy, tasty, and budget-friendly dinner. That's why we're giving you a meal plan with a week's worth of quick and easy, almost hands-free dinners for your family, complete with a grocery list. So you can take meal planning, shopping, and cooking off your to-do list. Now you have quality time to spend with your family. You can tend to the urgent and the important things and still have a relaxed, unhurried meal at the table with your family. Go to benandtravis.com/meal plan to sign up. We will send the meal plan and grocery list straight to your inbox.
So, like the silver linings, Will, you may want to add, you were about to say something. I don't know.
No. I was going to kind of look at that too, because it's hard to imagine good through any of this. Looking from the outside, you look at your family, friends, just your church family, everything that you've gone through. Like, what are some of those positives that you've brought out of that, or some silver linings, that we say that you look at and go, hey, here's ways that I've kind of grown. And that can be, for Cole, that can be for you and, for your mom.
Probably just, sometimes I would just dance the feelings out of me.
Yes.
Dancing.
You're going to show us any of those dance moves today?
Well, you got to have music.
We got to set him up.
Uh-oh.
We may can do that for a part 2.
Yeah, we might
We'll
have
probably
to.
throw
We
some
might
music
have to.
in there.
Might have to be the lead in.
Yes.
Well, that's cool. So
You got a lot of
dance and some
bling
that.
out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That stuff that you put on, you're showing off, man. I tell you,
One
I'm
time,
super jealous.
I was wanting this. Y'all probably don't know what it is, but it's a Cuban link. It's like real heavy, and it was $100-something on Amazon. And Mom, I said, "Can I get this?" And she said, "No." Well, I went ahead and ordered it anyways, and I remember wearing it around the children's end, and she couldn't find me, and I didn't want her to see it, and I still have it to this day. I wanted to wear it.
So you gave him the Amazon link so he could order it? I mean, like,
he knows on my phone. He can click on Amazon. Carson ordered a Spider-Man skateboard. I've got to figure out a password or something. But I told him, I was like, you better be glad you're sick, because I would totally be sending this back.
So
That was one of the cool things about mine is they just tell you to eat stuff. It's like if all you want is chocolate cake, eat chocolate cake. If all you can get down is ice cream, get ice cream. And it's like, okay, I could totally get on board with this,
Yeah, I love to eat, especially this was let's see, one time whenever I was there, I ate, it was my first time ever having a Big Mac, and I said, "Do you think the Big Mac sauce is good?" "No, I just eat it with plain Big Mac sauce." And, one of my nurses, he said, the whole point of a Big Mac is Big Mac sauce. So that night I had a pass, I think, and we went to go there. And I remember eating the whole thing. I was
He kept talking
hungry.
the whole time he was eating. He was like, "Have you ever had this?" It was like this discovery of this amazing.
And then one of our nurses called Marisol, she didn't like McDonald's, but she loved Chick-fil-A. And whenever I got Chick-fil-A, I would sit with her in her office and we would play. I remember I had this fake money and it was like all over her, just like laid out, and I would have like fake guns and we would play cops and robbers.
He used to arrest the nurses.
Even though they had jobs to do, I'd still arrest
And they'd
them.
walk around in handcuffs.
Sometimes I
Like
wanted
they
to
couldn't get
arrest
out
them.
of it.
Some of them.
Yeah.
So which is better, the Big Mac sauce or the watermelon stuff you went to sleep by?
Oh, probably the Big Mac.
And like you said, like they push food, eat, but Bethesda, Maryland is a different world. Or even
It's
like
totally different because, well, first of all, their steak is so different because we're used to fried steak, country fried steak. Well, theirs had like lettuce, mint stuff on it, and I just didn't want that, and I just ate the plain steak. And there was this steak place. What was it called?
well done
Well done.
or medium rare.
Medium rare.
One of
Medium
those.
rare. Medium rare.
Medium rare.
Well, that was a real good place, and what was that store called?
Store?
Giants.
The grocery store?
Mhm.
The Giant.
Giant. And they had like everything. And I remember this never-ending store that was like the mall. What was it called?
The
was
never-ending
like-
store?
Yeah, it like never ended. It like had like a
Still
store
going.
and then like a mall, but like connected. Like
It must have been a mall. I don't know.
no, it wasn't. It was so the like where we parked. It was like a store, and it was a store, like a grocery store.
Oh, the grocery store that we both got to go
Yeah.
to. And, oh
What's it
yeah,
called?
I can't think.
Well, they had everything. I even tried my first ever what's it called? Seaweed.
seaweed. He wanted
Yeah.
to get seaweed.
And I hated it. It wasn't good.
Pass on that.
I think
I'd-
it was
I'd choose
called
the Big Mac.
Wegmans. Is that like a fancy grocery store? Wegmans.
I
I think I've seen those before.
I think that was what it's like.
And so they had like, I'm sure y'all have, but it's called the Spicy Noodle Challenge. Well, they had like the actual ones that they use on YouTube there, but we didn't get any, I don't think. I know we got, I don't know what we got, but we got a lot of stuff. And that was like the best day ever, me getting to go to the grocery store.
Okay, so wait. If we were to do a spicy noodle challenge on the Ben and Travis show at some point, are you telling me that you would come back and be a guest?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's like
just checking.
no hesitation.
No,
I'll be there.
Yeah,
It's
I got
like,
that.
I'm all in.
Well, Cole, is there anything that, and I liked pork rinds before I got my diagnosis, but for some reason now, like I have a huge bucket that I get from Costco of pork rinds, and like I just crave them all the time. Is there anything that maybe you liked before, but now maybe just the absence makes the heart grow fonder, or maybe the stomach?
Ramen noodles. I don't like them anymore. But I used to have like, it was like probably about like this big, and the whole thing was full of ramen noodles, and I would eat it like it was nobody's business.
So the Children's Inn is like across the street from the hospital.
And then Mom would always make the worst ones because she didn't. Hers were like just
Under the bus.
dry,
Mom,
and BB's
Mom
and
can't even
Dad's
cook
were
ramen
like,
noodles.
I know.
And it would be midnight, and I would walk across that street in the dark to go make those stupid ramen noodles, and then he'd be like, "No, they're not good."
There
Oh
never was.
man,
Mm.
come on, Cole, come on, man.
That's tough, man. You gotta treat
I
mom
was
better than
extra. And the reason I was extra
you.
because my mom let me be. And we
That's a
got
sound.
in
That is a
Maryland,
sound bite we're using from now on.
That's
Extra.
in
the best.
Maryland, we would call it bougie.
Bougie, yes.
So Cole was bougie, but in that same respect, he goes, but it was all my mom's fault.
It was
Like,
mom.
Had nothing to do with me.
Always.
It was all Mom's fault.
No.
Good job, Mom. Way to go, Mom. You did this.
Before we go, we like to ask some fun stuff. So, Cole, we've all been waiting for this answer. Okay, what is your favorite song to dance to? What is it that unleashes the wild man Cole, the boss?
The new clean song. Baby by Blueface.
I promise it's clean.
That's Mom. Mom's having to give some.
Have you been prepped before this?
What does that mean?
Did I tell you what to say?
Oh, no.
No judgment here, Cole. No judgment here.
She actually told me not to say that.
Gotcha. The truth comes out. Let it be known.
What were you gonna say? What was your?
I don't know. There's too many.
No, he said, "Well, what do you want me to say, Boots
Oh, yeah.
Boogie?"
Boots Scooting Boogie. Yes.
You say yeah?
Yeah. You got the boots on for that.
Oh yeah.
That is true. Some sweet cowboy boots on.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of that, like fashion tips. You got any
Yeah.
fashion tips?
Cole, if you were going to give Travis and Ben and myself some fashion tips to kind of up our game a little bit, what would you say?
I got probably to wear like a golden chain with like an angel on it or a cross. That's what I have. And
So you think Ben needs to preach in a golden chain next week?
Mhm.
Dude, my sermon this
He's
morning
got
was
one you can
entertaining
borrow.
angels, so I could have.
There you go.
I would have totally rocked it out.
Cole, you need to let Ben borrow one of your chains so that he can preach next Sunday in the chain.
Okay.
They want me to wear a tie all the time, so I could just wear a chain. That would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more ties. Cole's chains. Here we go.
He's got a tiger. He has anything.
No,
you
it's a
want.
panther.
Panther. It's a cat.
Of
It's a
course,
large
we got
cat.
Marcel. Come on, man.
Yeah, what's a tiger?
It's a
Do
panther.
you have a bat necklace?
Ooh, do you?
Dude, I'll tell
I
you
got
this.
headphones on.
I have combed Amazon like crazy trying to find you the blingiest bat necklace. Seriously, one night, after one of your Facebook Lives, I was like, I've got to get this kid a bat necklace of some sort, the most blingy,
Probably,
shiniest
hey,
one I
if
can
you're
find.
gonna get me one, it's gotta be a what they call it? I forget. A Cuban link. Yeah, Cuban
Yeah,
link.
okay.
Gotta be a Cuban link.
And one of those $100 deals is what you're saying.
Cuban link.
I was
Well-
really hoping, Travis, that
And a
he was
little
going to
bag
say,
that's Gucci.
yeah, it need to have a little Gucci with it too. That's what I was hoping.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
looking, man. I'm gonna
There's these
find one.
ones that's called like Gucci link. Like they have like Gucci, kind of like Cuban links, but Gucci around them. That's like links.
There you go.
Like a
Yeah,
G.
Travis can do that. He's loaded.
Yeah.
Travis,
Yeah.
I bet you have to add a couple more zeros to that 100 to get the Gucci gold
Yeah,
chains.
yeah. I'll be looking at a lower bracket there, buddy, but I'm still looking. Don't give up on me.
Thanks again for joining us for the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Join us next week to hear the second installment of our visit with Caroline and Cole Kelley. You won't want to miss it. Also, be sure to download the 28 Days of Focused Living and receive all the Ben and Travis extra content directly to your email. As always, we can't wait to see you again at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.